Well, how are you?
I'm not too bad.
That's good.
Manic at the moment.
But yes,
busy.
yes. Well, it would be easy. You do this to yourself.
I know. Getting for punishment.
Yes, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to have you back.
It feels good to be back, you know.
Well, in disguise, yes. And how has it been so far? As you say, it's a bit manic at the moment, but
it's been great, really. It's been a lot of work and a lot of stress, but you know, we've been doing. I mean, obviously recording a new album, but we've been playing a lot, and it's been, you know, the audience reaction has been fantastic.
Okay.
Which is obviously very important. We've been kind of lukewarm. I don't think we've carried on.
Were you a bit worried that I mean, I know you've had phenomenal responses from the live shows that you were doing, from last year, but putting the album together, were you sort of a little Hi, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
It got cut off there.
Yes, it all just came to a grinding halt.
Yes.
Anyway, we were saying, yes, were you in putting the album out?
Yeah, I think because obviously there's a lot of kind of expectations that people have. You know, you sort of don't want to disappoint them, and you don't want to sort of. I mean, some people treat it almost like it's a sort of sacred thing. It's that people get very precious about it, and so yeah, I suppose in some ways we were kind of nervous to see. Well, I mean, just to see what the reaction to it was. But so far, people have been very positive about it. Particularly like the British press. I mean, people have had pre-release copies. It's obviously not released yet, but
yes.
The feedback we're getting has been incredibly positive. So, I mean, obviously, we wanted to make a record that we were happy with, but also that the older fans would be happy with, and hopefully that we'd attract some new fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine line that you tread, isn't it? I mean, because you're not a new band, and as you say, trying to find some common ground where you can coach the old ones back and hopefully build a new base as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing was that since we kind of stopped working back in the 80s, that Mark and I have both gone off and done our own things, and which is great because we've both learned a hell of a lot, and all that experience gets brought to the soft cell table, really. But I found that I kind of had to sit down and kind of listen to the entire back catalogue and just kind of make some mental notes and think, well, there's got to be certain things that are still common to what we're doing now. It's got to sound like a soft cell record, but in the year 2002. Because you could go so many different ways. But there's been so much electronic music, particularly because of all the dance stuff and the techno stuff. And it's like, well, there'd be no point in us trying to be that. I think we had to be kind of true to ourselves, but we wanted, that it sounded like a contemporary record, and we've been very conscious of that. But it's very much a soft cell record of now, I think. It's kind of, if we hadn't disbanded, I would hope that this would be the record we would be making anyway. We'd kind of made like another 3 or 4 albums in between. It's kind of where we're at now, and there's always kind of the sort of lyrical themes and musical themes that have always kind of run through our music, and I think we've tried to kind of maintain that without sounding like we're just recycling ourselves. I think the music has moved on.
Yes.
But there's certain things that make it very distinctly soft cell.
Which is the two of you. I mean, you can't really take that away.
Of course. Yeah. But it's the way that it's the sound of Mark's voice and his lyrics, and I think a lot of it is the sort of minimalness and the emptiness and some of the sounds I use. There's certain things that just make it sound like us. I mean, I can't analyse it too deeply because I can't be objective enough about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it must be, I mean, in a way, as you say, all the experience that you collectively gained, in the time that you weren't soft cell, in a way, you bring that all to the table. It must have been quite a process in a way of deciding, what to bring, and what to not.
Exactly. I mean, I think from Mark has kind of said himself that the kind of lyrics that he would write for soft cell they kind of have to reflect the way both of us feel, and it'd be subject matter that, even though I'm not the lyric writer, but it'd be subject matter that we both kind of felt something about. I mean, I think Mark's own stuff is much more introvert and probably romantic and stuff, and it wouldn't be soft cell if he was kind of doing that sort of stuff. That's very much a Mark Arman thing.
Yes.
In the same way that I wouldn't do a sort of out and out kind of kind of dance track, like say with the Grid, or I wouldn't do just a sort of ambient track or something. But there'd be elements of that'd be in it. You know, there's certain sort of techniques, and you kind of mature as a kind of musician and stuff, and you kind of add that to it. You know, there's no point in us trying to make a record as if we were two 21-year-olds, because we're not. No. We would just be kind of deceiving ourselves and deceiving the audience.
Yeah, and then they would see right through it.
You know, we have to make a record that is, this is who we are, and this is what we are, and what we're about, and this is now. You know,
an honest record. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's one thing we've always been honest, probably too honest sometimes. You know, it's led to our demise several times.
Although, you know, that could be argued, you see. I think hence the fact that, you know, in 2002, you know, Soft Cell can come back because so much of the material that you wrote in the 80s is still referenced, is still so critical, and, you know, by comparison to certainly what was happening at the time, was leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of the other stuff that was happening.
I think a lot of that was because I don't think we ever really fitted in. So it was kind of almost. I mean, people said that we were new romantics, we were futurists, and it's only because we were around at that time. But I think musically, we've always kind of had like our own space, really, and which is maybe why people are kind of into what we're doing now. I think it's, you know, obviously there's people that they want to hear the old hits, but it's great that you get, you know, we've made sure that we don't just play the old hits. There's a whole cross section of the, you know, early stuff from albums, the hits, plus the new stuff, and it's, you know, it's very important to us that it's considered as an ongoing thing. It's not just a sort of retro thing. I think when we kind of got the first reviews from our first live shows for kind of 17 years, and people were saying it's more like a rebirth and a re-energized Soft Cell. That's kind of what we wanted to hear.
Brilliant.
Kind of made us go, let's carry on, rather than people going, oh, it's just some retro thing.
Yeah.
We don't see it as a retro thing. It's sort of like, it's kind of unfinished business, really. It's like, you know, in the time just for, you know, we sort of drifted into it, really, because we've been sort of dabbling, writing songs for about 4 years.
Okay.
On and off. Not really thinking about kind of Soft Cell getting back together. And then we kind of listened to sort of a few of these tunes back to back, and, you know, surprise, it sounded like Soft Cell. So we kind of tentatively started doing it under the kind of banner of Soft Cell, you know, and then we got offered to play, to launch this new club in London called Ocean, which kind of put us really, you know, right, you know, you've got a deadline now, and so it's kind of, we just thought this is a great opportunity, you know, they kind of offered us enough money that we could do a proper production.
Brilliant.
We just didn't want to just kind of limp back on stage, and it was just like really kind of average. It had to be like an event.
Yes.
And this was just a perfect opportunity, and we just thought, well, we can test it out. We can see, let's see what the reaction is. And if it's not brilliant or it's lukewarm, then we just say, well, it's a one-off event. But the way it worked out was that the crowd, I mean, we did like 3 nights, it was like sold out, and the crowd went mad, and the press went equally mad, and it was like, it looks like we're back in business.
I mean, do you think it's perhaps got something to do with the fact that you not that you were indifferent to whether it worked or not, but you were in a place where, great if it did, but if it didn't, you know, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. So in a way, you were just able to do what you felt, and, yeah, like we were saying earlier, keeping it honest and keeping it real, but sort of saying, well, yeah, if this works, great, but if it doesn't, it's fine too.
I think that's it. That we didn't. It wasn't like everything depends on this, but it was. But I think we just got so kind of excited about it. It's like, well, you know, because we were just really excited about the kind of new material we're writing about, and it's also great to sort of play some of the old stuff. You know, it's fantastic. To, you know, I mean, it's, you know, when you're kind of on there, I mean, you know, 'cause Tainted Love, you know, we used to refuse to play it because we got so sick of it, and now we've kind of accepted that, and you play it, and it's just, when you can actually see the audience response, particularly if we do the long version, we go into Tainted Love, people just go absolutely ballistic.
Yes.
And it's great just to see that reaction. You know, I think that's it. If we kind of accepted what Soft Cell's about and who we are, you know, and it's kind of, well, yeah, if people, we're not forcing anyone to like it. I hope they do, and I hope they like the new material. You know, I know that lots of people like the old material to varying degrees and stuff, but we just see it as a sort of ongoing thing, and, you know, there's no one's going to say, yeah, we're going to carry on doing it for another 10 years.
Sure.
This might be the last record, or we might do another one. We just see how it goes, really.
Well, I mean, you could look at it from the point of view that you took a 17-year sabbatical, and it never really ended. It was, as you say, it was a regrouping exercise to go away and play and do some other things, and come back and hopefully make a critical record on the back of that.
But yeah, and hopefully it is, and if people like it, then that's great. I hope they do. But I'm not going to I'm not going to be sort of completely devastated if people don't like it. It's kind of you can't make people like your record.
No.
But I hope that we made a good record. I don't know. I'm too close to it. But so far there's kind of the sort of press reaction has been really positive. So that I feel I mean, you could have a sort of critically acclaimed record that no one buys. You just never know, do you? I mean,
true, which a lot of artists do suffer from, sadly.
Exactly. I mean, there's no guarantees in life, really.
Is it strange in a way? I mean, obviously, you've stayed within the business, but over the years, but from the point of view that it's directly you, and it's soft sell again, and when you reflect on how how the industry worked and how everything sort of pieced together, then by comparison to now, is it still a fun place to be?
I think the kind of key thing with us was that there was no way, I don't think there was any way that we could have ever worked with a major label. I think because we just fell out so badly the last time we did as a duo and stuff, and that was why, because we had major labels sniffing around, and it was just they were just sort of saying things, oh yeah, we could change this and make it sound more like the Chemical Brothers, or make it sound more like Daft Punk or something, and Mark and I just looked at each other and go, this is not going to work, and it's like, let's find a label that gives us the artistic freedom, and that is not going to be interfering and trying to change it, and they're entitled to make comments if they like something,
but respect it, yeah.
But that actually trust us, and I think that with Cooking Vinyl, that's the way it's been. They've just kind of let us get on with it, and we've hopefully delivered. I mean, they seem very happy with it and stuff, and it seems to be going well. But I think we're at that age where we can't really, but we're too old to be manipulated.
Couldn't be
I think
bothered.
when we were younger, because we were so naive and we didn't know the ins and outs of the business, and you kind of allow yourself to be put into these situations. When you look back, you think, Christ, why on earth did I appear on that kids' TV show with a puppet? You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's no way we would appear on a TV show with a puppet. No,
for one of 100 reasons, but
exactly. But in those days, you kind of get sort of, yes, this would be great for the record, and you just kind of go along with it because you don't know, you don't even know that you can actually say no.
Yes.
You don't even realise that you're allowed to say no.
Well, nobody tells you that, do they?
Exactly, and I think that was why eventually we just fell out with the record company so badly.
Yeah.
We just got so sick of it, and it's like we just reacted rather badly, I think.
But I mean, that's the beauty of a label like Cooking Vinyl, because I figure the way they see it is that you know what you're doing. It's not like you're just starting out. So why mess with something that has clearly worked for for more than 2 decades?
I mean, they seem to have a very good sort of global operation without being a sort of kind of corporate global thing. But I don't think you have to go through a sort of major corporate operation, because I think if you've got enough kind of smaller labels around the world, and the thing is that they're passionate about the music.
Yes.
That's what's really important to us. It's like the sort of music business, and the sort of majors to me, it's music with a small M and business with a capital B. Whereas
yes.
I think with something like Cooking Vinyl, I think maybe that it's both of them have got a capital. Do you know what I mean? That they care about the music as much as they care about the business, but
sure.
it's balanced.
To the point that I think Cooking Vinyl is now in a place where they've just enjoyed, I think, one of their most successful years since the label was created all those years ago, and I think it's because of that, because they've taken a lot of artists. I'm sure you know who's on your roster.
I know some. I know like there's Billy Bragg and Echo and the Bunnymen. They've got some very kind of credible things.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's like a little safe haven for music that would otherwise probably be totally bastardized, like you were saying, in order to try and fulfill some A&R person's idea of what music should sound like.
I mean, to me, a lot of the music that comes out now, it just sounds like that they don't even have an A&R department. They just have an accountant's department.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, I think that will probably sell. And it's, you know what I mean? It seems that the decisions seem to be made like that, really.
Yeah.
More based on how many we're going to sell rather than how good's the music. And I think you have to kind of care a bit about the music.
Yes.
It's not just about, we could sell like X million units of this. There's got to be some,
Well, why would you sell them? Because hopefully it would be good, and that should be the drive, not the fact that you could. I mean, if it sells, if this record sells, a couple of million, you're certainly not going to complain. But it should be on the basis that people bought into it because it was great, not because of some contrived campaign.
It's not kind of been hyped to death and
Yes.
spent like fortunes on the video. I mean, I don't have any expectations. I've got no idea. Who knows what could happen? It might sell kind of nothing, or it might sell loads. You never know. I mean, even when you're with a major, that still happens.
Also.
I mean, look at Michael Jackson.
I wasn't going there, but yes.
But do you know what I mean, though? I mean, even for someone who's an established artist like that, and his last album sold 1 million, which I'd be delighted with, but for someone like Michael Jackson, that's a complete bomb.
Yes, because it cost him a couple more of those to actually make to have the album see the light of day.
Yeah,
but
that seems to be happening to quite a lot of these sort of massive artists like Mariah Carey and people. I'm not particularly sorry for them. I think they've got enough money anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in putting this album together, it was I'm sure a process that you dictated the pace to as well. I mean, like you were saying, 4 years really in the making.
But that was very on and off, and that was just we were just kind of doing kind of demos and stuff, and but we had the luxury of the time, and we weren't even thinking we were making an album while we were doing that. It was and then suddenly we had this kind of bunch of songs, and I think that the way the album actually kind of sits, I think it works together. I think it kind of tells like a story in a way, the way it flows. I mean, somebody remarked it's almost like a musical or something. I mean, we'd never thought of it in that way, but the way that the sort of songs work and where it goes and stuff, there is a sort of flow to it. Which I kind of like that. If people kind of think that's great.
But I think that's always been one of Soft Cell's greatest, or what would you call it, trump cards, is the fact that the music has always had more than one obvious layer rather. You had obviously Mark on vocals, but there were certainly levels to what you were doing, so you could appreciate the music in different ways at different times depending on your mood, and I think that certainly comes through, as you say, with this being a continuation of what you were doing.
I think technically it's probably the best thing we've done, but other people are going to love other things for different reasons. I mean, I know that technically it's better than anything we've done, obviously, because with the benefit of kind of experience and also the sort of technology that is available, that you can strive towards that sort of perfection. I mean, which you always are doing, I think, as an artist. I mean,
hopefully,
that's what keeps you going. That you never feel like you're quite perfected it, which is why you do another record, or if you're a painter, you do another painter. There's always those sort of recurring themes. You probably really, everybody's probably got maybe 5 songs or something, and you're just kind of rewriting those ideas because it's very much you've got a certain amount of ideas which makes that band, I think.
Sure.
We wouldn't suddenly go off and do a sort of kind of gangster rap tune, because that's got nothing to do with what we're about.
No.
It's kind of knowing what you're about and just trying to communicate that as those ideas as well as you can, really.
And it must be great as well, for the two of you to release an album now and look at it from the responses that you're getting and from the live shows, that what you're doing is still relevant. I mean, that must be the biggest.
I think that relevance is the key word. You can't really tell if you're relevant or not. I think that's for other people to decide, because
sure.
It's like if your music actually fits into someone's life, then it is relevant. If there's a place for your music in their record collection and in their life, and they actually put it on and listen to it, then it's relevant. I think.
And which is quite something. I mean, as I say, when you look out into the vast landscape of music that is out there, and that has happened since the last Soft Cell album, and to come along and put a record out, and for it still to connect, with people who have been exposed to a million different things, and to say this is what we want to buy into, and yes, it does translate.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the objective. Really. If we can achieve that, I'll be delighted.
Well, you see, Soft Cell never made it to South Africa in the 80s, and would seriously like you to come down.
At the moment, I don't know if there's any plans to. I mean, I've never been there. I mean, I know a lot of people that have. I mean, it's an extremely beautiful country. I mean.
Well, to play, you see, I mean, it would be good, you see, I mean, on the basis of, all the things that you didn't do.
Hello?
Right, me again.
We got I suppose it's quite a long way, though, isn't it?
Yes, it gets tired.
It's a kind of miracle, really, that you can actually speak from such a distance.
It is true, and you don't have to shout.
There's no delay either.
No, I think it's
remarkable.
But on the basis that you haven't been out to South Africa, I think you, what the two of you should do is sit down and make a list of all the things that you didn't do first time round, and try and hopefully we can coax you down to come and see South Africa for first hand.
Right. So whereabouts in South Africa are you?
In Cape Town.
Oh right. Excellent. Well, yeah, you never know.
Well, exactly. You didn't think this would happen, did you?
Not exactly. You can never tell what's going to happen. Right? You never know what's around the corner.
but it all certainly sounds great, David, and look forward to to more.
Thank you.
You realise that you've set yourself up now. You've created an expectation.
Well, I mean, if we can live up to people's expectations with a new record after so long, then that'll be a major kind of goal for us. I think it'll be a triumph, If we don't disappoint people, the people that kind of love the old records, if they're not disappointed, then I'll be extremely happy with that.
No, I think certainly by the sounds of it, if they are disappointed, they don't get it. So
well, yeah, if they don't get it, then they don't get it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't help them. Nobody can. No.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, David. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, and good luck.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.